President Trump just fired some more people, but these are not normal workers. And it sparked a legal firestorm because this is in the Federal Trade Commission. This could end up being a jackpot for billionaires across this country. It will also test a 90-year Supreme Court ruling. How will it impact you and everyone that you know? Let's get into it. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, keeps corporate giants in line, from junk fees to full-blown scams. This agency has 5 commissioners. You can have no more than 3 from one political party. They have a 7-year term that they're supposed to serve. What President Trump did last week is he went in there and he fired two Democratic commissioners. And the way that he fired them, there was no real notice. One guy was at his kid's gymnastic practice. His kid was tumbling around on the mat, and he gets a text message and he realizes that he's out. So he texts his coworker and says, hey, we've been fired. Both of these commissioners are saying this is illegal. And all legal precedent would agree and say this was an illegal action. So they're suing. In 1935, the Supreme Court's decision established that the president could only remove FTC commissioners for specific reasons, like inefficiency or neglect of duty, and it reinforced the agency's independence. The White House press secretary recently said that the president's well within his right to do any hiring and firing within the executive branch, even if it ignores laws that were passed in Congress, even if it ignores regulations and statute that have already been determined previously. So the thing is, all these laws exist on the book for a reason. If you do not like the laws, if you're the president or if you're in the executive branch, if you do not like these laws, start legislation through Congress again and remove those laws, change those laws, modify those laws. Yeah, that process takes time, but that's the right way to change laws. It's not to thump your chest and say, I am the commander-in-chief, I am the United States president, and I will do whatever it is I feel like doing. I do not think that is the proper way. So what's the FTC doing right now? Well, for one, they're suing Greystar, which is like the biggest company when it comes to rental units. They have 800,000 apartments and student housing and things like that. Now, the problem with Greystar is they love those hidden fees. And they love them so much they've made over $100 million in hidden fees. We're talking like trash services, package delivery services. They're not upfront about the fees. That's what the complaint says. That's what the case says. They're not upfront about it. In many cases, a person doesn't even find out about the fees until after they paid the application fee. The FTC is also focused on subscription traps. You know what I'm talking about. You sign up for a subscription, and then you think, it should be easy to cancel it. So you call the number, but nobody answers. You look on the website, but there's no button. Where's the button? Where's the cancel subscription button? Well, it's not there on purpose because they don't want you to cancel. So those reoccurring charges keep hitting your checking account or your credit card statement, and you're scrambling trying to figure out a way you can cancel it. So that's a whole racket in itself, and the FTC has been spending a lot of time there. Not just there, also the John Deere equipment for the farmers. Because now a lot of their tractors, a lot of their equipment, you can't work on it on your own. You have to take it in to have one of their professionals look at it. And there's a huge problem with that because the dealer's mechanics, they charge an average of $58 more per hour than independent mechanics. Of course, the companies don't agree, and they're fighting back against these cases. But with just 2 Republicans in the FTC right now, we could see these cases just vanish. And another thing that they're looking at are the robocalls. And you and me, we both get robocalls at all hours of the day. You have to turn your phone on silent sometimes because you just have these random strange numbers calling you. And you would think most people wouldn't fall for the scam. Well, if people didn't fall for the scam, eventually they would stop doing it. The only reason this has persisted through years and years and years is because every now and again, somebody falls for it. Maybe it's just one person out of 1,000, but that's all it takes to make a profit. So they're going to keep doing it. Here's where things get a little spicy because one of the commissioners that were fired, they're pointing at the billionaire club. They're pointing at Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. All 3 of those gentlemen, they went down to Mar-a-Lago after the president won the election. They gave him some money. They gave him at least $1 million. And Elon Musk, he gave him a little bit more than $1 million. Then When you go to the president inauguration, there you go. You see them again. They're lined up like dominoes right there, clapping and smiling. The interesting thing about that is all three of them are being investigated by the FTC. Is that a coincidence? Amazon allegedly skimming 50 cents of every dollar small sellers make, plus blocking cheaper offsite deals. Meta for privacy and content moderation and data misuse. The FTC is also looking at Tesla and X for multiple concerns. There's also a case against CVS Pharmacy. There's a middleman jacking up insulin prices illegally. The two GOP commissioners, they can make all that go away. They can toe the line because they know in the back of their head, the president can get rid of them too. Check this out. Amazon has a deal with the First Lady, Melania Trump, $28 million for a film. Trump's OSHA pick? It was an ex-Amazon executive. Now, this could all be some huge coincidence, or this could be corporate bailouts, or this could be a thank you for donating to my campaign. Whatever it is, it looks a little suspicious. If Trump's Justice Department is successful in flipping this Supreme Court ruling, well, the president can fire anybody at any time. No one's off limits. Look at the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. Can you get rid of him too? Maybe he doesn't lower interest rates and he gets upset and he fires him. Is that outside the realm of possibility? Once upon a time it was. But the actions that we're seeing here today being done throughout the country, a lot of people have never seen anything like this before. I don't even think rural Americans, if they understood what FTC did, if they understood the protections that they provided, I don't think they would want this to happen either. Because just look at the payday loan shops. There used to be payday loan like on every corner of every small town. And they would charge 25% interest. And people would be gorged. People would be exploited because they didn't know how to manage their money and they were living paycheck to paycheck. So they would visit these shops to get $400, $500, $600. And there would be insane interest rates. I knew a guy in the Army. Every payday, every 2 weeks, he would go to the payday loan and he would pay off his balance and he would get another loan. He would do it like clockwork year after year. What he was doing was just spending thousands and thousands of dollars for no reason, giving it to the company that was exploiting him due to his ignorance. And that's what's often seen. Really, in the private sector, we praise it because of innovation. And it's amazing, the innovation. And it has increased our standard of life across this country, without a doubt. But there's an ugly side to it. There's the soft, sweet allure of maximizing profits. By any means necessary. You have to cut a few corners, cut those corners. The money has to keep growing. The shareholders have to be enriched. The government has intervened in a lot of those cases, and they have protected consumers across this country. The FTC is over 100 years old, and there's 1,000 employees that work over there. I don't really see why this is a partisan issue at all. If your goal is to protect consumers, protect Americans, then you got to be pro-FTC. Because if this thing dissolved, if this thing went away or was drastically changed in some partisan way, what you could be seeing is increased consumer scams and fraud, higher prices and less competition, subscription traps and hidden fees, and more unsafe products and false advertising. Most people, if you ask them, they'll probably say they want less government, they want less taxes, until they become a victim. They become a victim of a crime, well, they want a police officer there. They become a victim of arson, well, they want a firefighter there. They become disabled, they want Social Security there to provide benefits. There's a homicidal maniac that escaped from prison, well, they want the Bureau of Prisons. And when they get scammed out of their hard-earned money, well, then they want the FTC. So it's not just this agency that's under threat. We're seeing another agency that have reduced their pay, reduced the salaries of the federal employees by 25% across the board. And this is going to impact a lot of these employees. They're already escaping out of this agency. If you want to know more about that, I want you to check this video out next. If you need a federal resume example, check out the links down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.